with a history of working in luxury and consumer goods industry.
So I'm from Thailand. I'm ethnically Indian, but fourth generation, born and brought up in Thailand. I was very blessed to have an international upbringing.
She's an experienced country manager at Louis Vuitton India.
I'm very commercially driven. I'm very passionate about building a good team and delivering excellence in anything that I do.
NewsX India A-list proudly recognizes Sunaina Kwatra for excellence in luxury entrepreneurship.
Well, hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX India A-list. My name is Megha Sharma, and joining me on the broadcast is a very special guest. Sunaina Kwatra is an experienced fashion and lifestyle leader with proven expertise in international retail management, brand positioning, and turnaround execution. She has almost 20 years of work experience, the majority of which has been spent leading fashion brands at the Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy Group in Asia Pacific. So it's good to have you on the show, Sunaina. And first of all, congratulations for all the big accomplishments in your life, in your career. And if you could tell us more about your background, how have your Indian roots brought you back to India?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm from Thailand. I'm ethnically Indian, but fourth generation, born and brought up in Thailand. I was very blessed to have an international upbringing. I've worked in 5 continents, traveled extensively. My last few roles have been within the LVMH group based out of Hong Kong. So I started with them with my first role being the regional head of Emilio Pucci, which is a fashion brand based out of Florence. I managed their direct retail for Hong Kong, China, Singapore, and the rest of Asia Pacific. After that, I was hired by them to reposition the Givenchy brand for Asia Pacific, wherein within 3 years, I opened almost 30 stores in the region and oversaw about 60 stores. So after that, when they offered me the position to come back to India, I was thrilled for the opportunity, and I'm very proud of all that we have done to build the business and our team in India.
Absolutely. You've worked with some of the best brands, best designer brands. You already mentioned Givenchy. You talked about Louis Vuitton, and having spent quite a lot of time in putting your efforts and energies to make that brand a success in India, in the Asia Pacific region specifically. What are the kind of tools, what are the kind of utilizations that have allowed you to succeed in your career?
Sure. Growing up, travel, my father's always said that travel is the best form of education. And I agree with that, because today I have a very international exposure and experience in building people and businesses and growing businesses around the world. So, I'm very commercially driven. I'm very passionate about building a good team and delivering excellence in anything that I do. So my end-to-end experience overseeing networks, finance, logistics have allowed me to be detailed oriented, yet be able to set and execute the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting to understand. And then taking the step forward, the last 1.5 years has been difficult for the industry in toto. And when it comes to the designer brands, luxury brands, it's been a downfall like no other. So during the pandemic period, what are the kind of lessons that the industry has learned, especially the retail industry has gone ahead and learned?
Sure. So I think the biggest learning is that we have to embrace e-commerce and the online experience, right? While the word omni-channel was a buzzword a decade ago, I think successful businesses during COVID have had to integrate different methods of shopping available to consumers. So you've had to expand your supply chain through localized fulfillment centers or direct to consumer. And e-commerce has been obviously a key to successful businesses during COVID. Businesses have had to be agile and responsive to different ways in reaching the consumers. And of course, as the lockdown has also led to less physical interaction with consumers, brands have had to rethink the consumer experience and how they engage with clients. So yeah, I think that's the big thing is how do we engage with clients in a number of different ways.
Okay, all right. And obviously technology plays a massive role in it. You're talking about e-commerce, we talk about quantum technology, artificial intelligence. Are they all going to be making a huge impact? Especially, I think they've already started making a huge impact in the fashion industry now and in the coming few years as well.
Absolutely. There is nothing to deny that technology will be a key part of the growth in the fashion industry. Coming out of COVID, sustainable materials are important and a key focus for a lot of brands. So materials that are not only good for the environment, but good for us, being non-toxic and more breathable. So we know that there are now going to need to be ways to bridge e-commerce and successful physical presence of stores. So you could have VR, you could have augmented reality to help you try on clothing, jewelry, fashion. Many brands have done this successfully, including maybe even Warby Parker or Sephora, that now allow you to try on lipsticks. And just the engagement of technology and digitization is key to the success in supply chain management and sourcing materials. So this is an exciting time for us, and technology will definitely enable future growth in retail.
Absolutely. What is that one advice that you would like to give to the business owners in India as we are coming out of the second wave? There is a likelihood, of warning signs put up for a third wave. How is the industry going to react? What is the kind of advice and caution that business houses need to, at this point of time, inculcate in their day-to-day routine?
So I'm sitting in the US right now, and we're starting to see lines in retail stores again, people really wanting to embrace human connection. So I'd just like to say there is hope and light. I hope that businesses now use this time to strategize and further activate their omni-channels, integrate and improve their e-commerce presence, engage with their communities on social media platforms, and really use technology to enhance the supply chain and logistics to better prepare themselves for the future.
Absolutely. If you were to predict how the fashion industry or the designer fashion brands industry is going to go forward from here in the next 5 years, keeping in mind there have been a lot of bumps that have been coming in wake of the pandemic, in wake of the lockdown. Is there going to be shopping that is going to take place with a vengeance, with a lot of people coming out, thronging the stores, buying out, having these huge soirees, wearing their best out for parties to happen, and therefore putting this massive push into the luxury sector?
I hope so. I certainly hope so. We're seeing it already in the US, but I think that everybody's excited to come back and be seen again, both physically and in the digital world on social media. So I think we're all ready to travel and get our lives back to ones that are filled with excitement and color. And so fashion will take a key part in it. And I look forward to seeing lots of growth in the future.
And finally, Sunaina, before I let you go, there's one question that I would ask you about the kind of tools that can be utilized by the fashion industry, by owners of fashion brands to attract people back into their stores, keeping in mind that there is still that COVID fatigue that continues to happen. There's still that wariness. Coming close in contact with people is something that people on a larger scale, populations on a larger scale are wary of doing, even at this point.
Well, one thing COVID has taught us really is that health and our safety is of utmost importance. So not only with consumers, but also with our teams that work on the retail floors. So safety is a big part of us feeling good to come back and shop again. But my only hope is really that the vaccines take into effect in all countries, including India, immediately, and that you will see over time that people feel excited and feel safe to come back to shop.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sunaina Kwatra, for joining us on this very special broadcast of NewsX India A-List.
My pleasure. Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.